you want to jump in.
Hey, look, he like a double Dutch man. Like, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get in.
Loading snacks.
What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage here, Loading Snacks crew.
Sir.
With me is...
Sin as always.
And...
New Joker.
Cool's missing. K's here. What up, K?
What up?
What's that?
There we
Ladies
go.
and gentlemen, we are here to bring you hashtag ICYMI.
Just in case
Just
you
in case you missed it. Which, of course, is last week's news. So, without any further ado...
Let's get to it.
Get to it.
Number 1.
Electronic Arts announced that they are going to have their own event called EA Play at E3 this year instead of digging into their normal booth space with all the other developers. The publishing giant is inviting the public to come to their event the day before E3 officially kicks off to experience hands-on demos, live events, competitions, and special guest appearances. It will run from June 12th through 14th in LA and on June 12th in London, with the live conference kicking off at 1 p.m. PST. So this is interesting that EA is pulling out, doing their own thing.
Their own thing, right.
Mm-hmm.
Separate from the main floor of, I guess, of E3. I think we could be seeing a trend.
Definitely.
Here, you know, Bethesda kind of kicked it off last year, so.
Yeah. PlayStation does their thing now, and Nintendo does their own little separate things now. So yeah, it seems like people are starting to follow suit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a good idea, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later in the show.
Right.
I do think it's a good idea. I just don't know how everybody else will be able to do the same thing. You'll be all over the place.
Yeah.
Especially if you did them at the same time.
Right. But I definitely think it's a good move.
Yeah.
For them. So we'll talk about it a little bit more later in the show.
Absolutely,
we'll have something for y'all.
definitely.
Number 2.
The Flash and Supergirl universes will in fact collide. The Flash's Grant Gustin will appear as Barry Allen in National City and team up with Supergirl. The crossover episode is scheduled to run on CBS on March 28th.
So it's finally going down.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going down.
We talked about this a little bit. I had a feeling
Okay.
that eventually, I mean,
It was
look,
inevitable.
I think that, look, people talked about this when they announced Supergirl, like, oh,
Right.
they could do Flash and
Right.
Supergirl and that. But I think the concern was, we don't really know how Supergirl's gonna do.
Right.
Supergirl's pretty dope. I mean, it didn't Arrow, but it's pretty dope. Like, I like the show, and I didn't think I was gonna like the show.
Okay.
Even after I watched the pilot, I was like, man,
Yeah, I didn't like the pilot.
but the show is good.
Okay.
So, I think that now that it has kind of got some legs, and it's moving, and people like
There's some
it,
steam, right.
let's go ahead and make this move,
happen.
you know what I mean, and see what we can do. And I think it's interesting that it comes at the same time that they're saying, hey, the multiverse does exist.
Yes.
So, how do we think he ends up?
Me personally, I think they're two parallel universes. Parallel universes would not ever. So we know Barry can run through time. Now we know he can do that.
Right.
So I'm thinking maybe there's like a cross-dimensional kind of thing that he runs into. But
Runs right through.
Right.
Runs right through.
I feel like that's gonna happen because I could almost see it. Because typically with like the calls, let's say Flash, Arrow, I would kind of think they would do it all at the same time. So
Right.
do the Flash and do Arrow, and then maybe they all show up on Supergirl at the same time. So that kind of gives you that opening where only the Flash, and they haven't mentioned anything about any of the
Anybody
other
else,
supporting characters in there.
Right.
So Flash, maybe, I don't know if he's gonna get mad again, and he's just gonna run super fast, and he's gonna end up here and just smash right into Supergirl.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't say she's coming to.
No,
Man,
no,
he's going
there.
So,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much probably how it's gonna go.
Okay. You excited about it?
I gotta catch up on Supergirl. So that's my thing, because I was in the same boat. And originally when I first saw it, I was kind of like, nah, and then I kind of fell off. And then I heard about Martian Manhunter.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Probably said it afterwards, but I'm gonna finish getting back up on that though.
Do it. All right.
If you haven't done it, you need to do it too.
I agree.
Number 3.
Rainbow Six Siege saw its first DLC released this past week, giving Season Pass owners access to 2 new operators and all players a new map called Yacht in the Black Ice update. The update also came with some noticeable changes to PvE that are not sitting well with all players.
Yeah, we touched on this. We talked about this right before we got started. Yeah, they've made some changes, B, apparently, to this thing that you've had the pleasure of seeing firsthand. I haven't yet, and from what I've heard from you, no bueno.
First and foremost, okay, the Yacht map is huge, and it's pretty dope.
Looking forward to it.
Second, the 2 new operators, I like them both.
Looking forward to it.
Now that that's out of the way.
Okay, all right, we got your boys.
Got the goods.
Right.
Now,
looking forward to all that.
Now.
It's the other stuff.
Okay, so in the game, when you play the game, let's preface this. Generally, we play together, and we generally play co-op, terrorist hunt.
Yep.
Player versus the computer. Like, we play against the computer. We don't generally play against other people.
Right.
Happens every now and again, but for the most part, we just play against each other. When you play and you finish a match, whether you win or lose, you earn what's called renown, which basically are points that you can use to get new items for your weapons or open new operators, new characters and stuff like that to use. Since this update, it has been noticed that the amount of renown that you get when you're playing in PvE is significantly reduced versus when you're playing multiplayer, which means multiplayer probably has more legs, they probably make more money there, and they're looking to make more money because these new characters, if you don't have the season pass, it takes like a ridiculous amount of renown, like 25,000 renown, which used to be you could probably earn like 1,000 renown in an hour if you were decent. So I think it feels like a ploy or a plot to most people to either force people to buy the season pass or to force people to pay real money to try to grab these characters.
Right.
And it's not sitting well.
No, that does not sit well at all.
I mean, I bought the season pass, so it doesn't matter. It's too late, but
still, if we want to unlock our weapons and stuff, that loss of renown hurts significantly.
Yep, I agree. I'm still gonna play.
Yeah.
But
shame on you, Ubisoft.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Shame on you, Ubisoft, for that one.
I don't like it.
Number 4.
It looks like we may have an answer as to why we have yet to receive single-player DLC in Grand Theft Auto 5. During a recent financial call, Take-Two Interactive, which owns the company that creates GTA, stated that their third quarter results exceeded their expectations by about $47 million due primarily to stronger than expected revenues from Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online.
That's a big number.
It's a big number.
Yeah, so
it's a big number.
We haven't gotten any single player DLC because they're making it rain in the clubs right now.
Really?
I mean, it could be even more significant. I mean, their expectations were between, and this is a huge number, between 400 and 450 million was their expectations.
And they hit 480 something.
Right. So you can almost say by like 80, it was like 46.8. You know, 486.8 or something like that. Well, the thing that's significant about this is that when GTA Online first came out, it was given to you for free. I mean, if you bought Grand Theft Auto 5, you got the full game, $60, whatever. But Grand Theft Auto came later, a couple weeks later, whatever, and they did some updates and all that kind of stuff. But it was something that came later on, but it was free. But if you're gonna do something that's free like that, that is as robust and as big and has as much going on, like heists and all that kind of stuff, you have to be able to maintain that some way. There has to be money coming in. And we knew when they reduced the amount of money that you made for doing certain missions within the game and put in this shark card, which is like a fake credit card you can buy with real money to use to buy things in the game.
Currency, right?
We knew that meant this is their plan for trying to monetize Grand Theft Auto. They give it to you for free, but you're spending money so that you have money in the game to spend on clothes. Like a shirt And Grand Theft Auto online
like $700.
They're like $4,600. Like it's stupid.
And that's just
like,
a plain t-shirt.
Yeah, like just a t-shirt.
Hey,
like
I be in that joint.
not the suit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let me get it.
You know, they add new cars. They keep giving you free content.
Constantly.
But you have to pay for the new content. So yeah,
When
the
you
new
get it,
outfits,
yes.
but you gotta use it in game money to buy
New
it.
cars you be looking
New
for,
cars,
but you gotta buy them.
You gotta buy that, you know, whatever. You can't Grand Theft Auto it and find a car on the street and steal it. That doesn't work. So, you need to pay some money.
Absolutely.
If you don't have any money to use in it. It's kind of like the Rainbow Six thing, but it's working.
Oh yeah, it's working very well.
Definitely working
very well.
Maybe that's why they decided to do it. Maybe they heard that call and was just like,
hey, you know what?
We gotta
get
do
on this. We gotta get on this. Yeah.
we got to change our plan, bro. Yeah. I mean, I still want some single player DLC.
I would like it as well.
I'd agree.
But I mean, if you're gonna keep updating online, I haven't spent any money in the online.
I haven't spent none in a while, but I'm really trying to get that yacht.
I know you want your yacht. That's
want
why
that
I
But
said
I'm
you
just
want your
saying, like,
yacht.
I haven't spent any.
Oh
real
no,
money
I haven't even. No, I haven't even. Yeah.
online. So, thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens was leaked, announced, and then given a trailer this past week, and it looks awesome. While we finally were given a release date of May 13th for the long-awaited Doom.
Hey, so we get the Force Unleashed Lego game
Yeah,
this summer.
yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
It looks dope.
Yes.
Coming out in I think it's also in May. It's June.
Right. So somewhere. Okay. Yeah.
It looks really good.
It
like
did.
it looked like they took some money
And
Soundmine.
put a little something into
Soundmine.
it. Yeah.
and put it into that Force and awakened it. Like it looked that BB-8 looked. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. It's the Star Wars is where the Lego game started.
I'm gonna have to.
So you have to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Now
gonna have
we
to.
just need y'all to do your job and make
And
it
get us that online co-op.
Co-op.
Come on, please.
That's a little bit more. 4 players too.
Yeah, nah, I'm good. Nah,
Hey,
because them
hey.
joints get wacky.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I
hey,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't think that's a good.
It's not ready for
idea.
4 yet. It's not ready for 4 yet.
Let them get the online thing straight first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
You asking for too much.
Hey.
But then Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are y'all excited about Doom?
No.
I haven't
me
played Doom. I don't know how long.
However, when Doom 3 came out, we had a good time playing Doom 3
Yes, we did.
together.
Yes, we did.
I mean, it looks like it's cool. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they're not the exact same team that did the Wolfenstein game, but
Right.
it's still the same overall company.
Right.
And Wolfenstein was dope. Like, nobody was expecting Wolfenstein to be dope.
Yeah.
And Wolfenstein was dope. So maybe, like this
Maybe.
just, I mean, we got a date.
Yeah.
Collector's edition. Here's what I feel like. I feel like whatever hype they're gonna do, they gotta do it
Quick and now.
because it comes out before E3. It's not gonna be an Elder Scrolls game.
No, it's too early.
But yeah.
too
So
early.
it's not gonna be that. Could be Fallout DLC.
Absolutely. I
Could
can
be
see that.
whatchamacallit too. Dishonored 2.
Yeah. Because that
But
won't
what
be out
else?
yet.
But what else?
Who knows? They might got some things.
This
That's what I'm
maybe
saying.
they-
Like,
Might have things
what if
this
they
week.
just got a rack of mobile games? What if they just come out and
It
just
could be
like,
that too.
Fallout Shelter 4. Just skip all the other
Just skip
joints.
2 and 3. Go right to
Skip
4.
So it's got the same moniker as Fallout 4, and then they just you need this.
Hey,
mean-
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting to see what they bring this year.
Yeah, I don't. Doom doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me like.
I think if I borrowed yours and played it, oh, okay, I can have fun with it, but
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna
see how
spend the
he
60
just,
on
you
it.
see how he just made you spend the money
Spend
for it though?
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah,
just-
just that easy. Just that
straight
easy.
up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been hashtag ICYMI. Just in case you missed it,
Just in
that was
case.
last week's news. Need you guys to do us a favor. Please hit that subscribe button that's down at the bottom. Give us a like, drop us a comment. Tell us what you think is going to happen at E3. Tell us what you think about these conferences and these changes and
Yes.
so forth. Do us a favor and make sure you check out our podcast. Hit the subscribe. You can find us on iTunes. Just search for Loading Snacks.
Yes.
And by all means, stay with us. We got more information coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be busy over the next few. There's a lot happening. Deadpool's coming.
Deadpool.
So, with that, we're done. We're out. Toodles and loops.
Do you want more snacks? Check out the Loading Snacks podcast, Snacking and Hanging. Now available on iTunes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Loading Snacks show.
Yeah.
Over this past weekend, myself and the gang here were fortunate enough to dive headfirst into the Division beta.
Yes.
So, without any further ado, fellas, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Whew, double thumbs up, honestly.
Yes.
Thumbs up. There's
Agreed.
Agreed.
I think from beginning to end, we were all heavy into this beta.
I mean, look, I didn't deal with the Dark Zone.
Nope,
that's not my thing.
I did the mission, but that was about it.
Right. But we rolled and strolled.
Oh, yeah.
We squatted up and rolled and strolled
through the streets. Through the streets.
You know, and look, I mean, I heard some complaints, that the city felt a little empty, and I'm like, it's the apocalypse.
It's supposed to feel like that, yeah.
But I do understand that, like some people talk and said that, they wish maybe there was a little bit more variety in like the different enemies you fight. So, and I get that, but I also think that, like, as long as you go into this game with the correct mindset, that this is in fact an RPG. This is much more RPG than it is shooter. This is not a shooter. It is a third-person RPG. It's not a third-person shooter with RPG elements.
No.
This is a third-person RPG where they use guns. Think like Parasite Eve or something along those lines. Because this is not about being a marksman. Having a scope on your gun.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Yeah.
It adds. It adds to other options that you have. Like, you will get a higher critical hit percentage when you do a headshot.
Right. That doesn't mean they're going down.
It doesn't mean they're going down with a head. Like, it doesn't work like that. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, getting into the intricacies of, like, finding a bag that, like, allows me to carry more stuff, but also ups my attack, but also brings down something else. And you know what I mean? Like, those things started getting me excited because this is being compared heavily to Destiny.
Yep.
Which makes sense. It's a multiplayer, online, it's a, role-playing game. The difference is that the stuff that affects, like, your abilities and stuff in Destiny doesn't do anything. Like, picking up armor, it doesn't do anything.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when yes, if you grab a gun, you can grab a gun that hits harder than another gun. Right? But even as you leveled up your character, yeah, you got a new ability you didn't have before, but it wasn't intricate the way this is. This is a lot more like playing Diablo and finding a new piece of armor, and like you have two pieces of armor that match each other, but this does this.
Yeah.
Even when you see that in Destiny, you don't feel it. Like, you don't feel a difference. And I could immediately feel the difference between, oh, this gun didn't have a scope on it before. Now I have the scope attachment, I have a clip attachment, I have a, you know what I'm saying, I have an underbarrel grip, and I could tell the difference in what what that same gun was doing and how effective it was. That makes sense to me.
One of the things I like that you brought up to me, B, is the fact that, like, you have this medical center where you kind of go into and you have these wings that you can unlock and you can upgrade, and it gives you more access to stuff. But once you go into this medical center, then it separates you from the rest of the group. And what you see in your medical center is all yours. So it's not like spoiling.
It won't spoil it.
Yeah, it won't spoil nothing for everybody, which I thought was real cool. And I really liked, even though it's only snow, the dynamic weather. There was times when me and New Joke was out there and we couldn't see nothing in front of us. And we're in a firefight.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. Yeah.
That's sweet. I mean, I also think, again, it's a beta, and there were complaints that, like, there wasn't enough to do and whatever, but I think that was on purpose. I think they wanted you to kind of go in the dark zone or whatever, but they also didn't want to give you too much of the story.
Of course, yeah.
Part of that is probably just because of what happened with the beta and the alpha for Destiny. Like, they probably looked at that and was like, that's a bad idea. People who, once I got my hands on Destiny, I was like, I did all of this already. Like, you know what I mean? I was replaying so much of what I had already done. And so you don't want to do that, but I also like the fact that as you go out into the world, and you can do it as you want, like, you can upgrade the medical wing, or you can upgrade the other wing once you get to the real game. But it's also that upgrading those wings doesn't just give you better benefits within your home base, it actually changes the actual things your character can do. So it opens your ability like to heal other people. If you upgrade the medical wing, it gives you extra things you can do within that line. So you could essentially play it and build it the way you want. Like if I want to go and I want to be more defensive, or if I want to be deal more with the tech and stuff like that, I can do that.
Right.
You wouldn't know it, because if we're playing the game together and I'm in your game, when we walk into that home base, I don't see what your upgrades are.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it also gives you the opportunity to change your abilities on the fly.
Yeah.
Which you could kind of do in Destiny in terms of like whether you use an arc or you know,
void or what
right?
you
You can kind of do that and have a different special ability, super. But you can kind of change on the fly. So it's like the three of us are playing together and somebody else jumps in. We don't need 2 medics, or you know what I'm saying? We have an extra. I mean, you can have somebody else that say has a shield.
Another thing though, this is made for a 4-man squad.
Yes.
Oh, it is. Oh, it
This is made for not to be by yourself out there in those streets.
Because I will say is I did get stuck with that bam on the rooftop with the machine gun.
Yeah.
Like I could not take him. It took all 4 of us to take him down.
Yeah, but it also, because we played with people who had played through that portion, and it leveled to the fact that we had a squad of 4 versus being just 2 people or just by yourself or whatever.
More people,
so
more bosses coming out. Yeah.
But don't.
No,
Yes.
don't.
Don't. Overall,
I enjoyed it.
I'm with it.
Fantastic. I can't wait for March 3rd.
I mean, I pre-ordered.
I already did. That's
Well, clearly we all did.
Yes,
we
yes.
all got into the beta.
Y'all need to do that, and y'all need to holler at us.
And join us out there in these streets in New York City, because we're going to be there.
Definitely. Drop
Day
us a
one.
comment, drop your gamer tag.
Please do.
Yeah.
My Instagram post or something like that. Or drop them in the comments below so we can make sure we got you in the list and we can follow and all that kind of good stuff.
Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm with it.
Yeah, I think we all give it our sign of approval. And with that, we're out.
Dudes, this is a new thing I think we're seeing.
Yes, we are.
Bethesda did their own conference last year.
Yep.
Started off early on Sunday, same day as what this is, right? Technically, E3 doesn't start usually until Tuesday.
Right.
But the conferences generally kick off Monday.
Right.
So Bethesda last year said, we're jumping in Sunday.
Before everything gets started,
We're jumping in.
out the gate.
So EA is doing the same thing here. Sunday they're gonna have a conference, okay? 1 in the afternoon. It'll be 1 for them. It'll be later. We on the East Coast.
Right,
y'all,
East Coast.
So it'll be later for us. But the big thing about this is that they're essentially pulling out of E3 though. Like they will not have a booth space at E3.
They're doing everything 3 days, something like 2-3 days
days
beforehand.
Well, it's during the same time period, but it's not at the
It's not
same
in
place
the-
as E3.
Okay, got you.
So basically, they're using the Nokia Theater, which is the one Microsoft owns,
Right.
or whatever, and so they'll have space there, and it's going to be open to the public, so you can get tickets. Now they haven't said how
Right.
you can get tickets just yet. Supposedly they're going to be free. So if you're there and you want to go, you just have to get a ticket,
Right.
and then you can go. But I think it's interesting that they are doing sort of the PlayStation experience thing,
Yeah.
right? Where Sony has this event that's their own thing that they invite the public to come and participate in, so that the public actually gets hands-on time.
I find it interesting they're
Which
doing
is
it at
pretty good.
E3
But they're doing it during that
instead
same
of doing it at another time of the year where they could just have all
you
that
know what?
spotlight
I
on
mean-
just them.
I kind of like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I mean, look, from the outside looking in, you know, we generally watch E3
Right, from home.
from
Right.
the outside looking
Right.
in, right? And I mean, for the most part, what we get is whatever comes in the conference, and then whatever other coverage, you know,
The news
major,
outlets are getting to
managed
us,
to get to
right,
us. But even having said that, you know, with I've heard a lot of complaints from the media over the past few years as E3 has grown and as they have begun to invite more people, because E3 is not supposed to be a public event. It's
Right.
supposed to be a media event, so that not just the people we follow, like say your IGNs or your Kotakus or whatever, but like major news outlets like NBC and like they cover USA Today, like they cover E3 because it's big. These are the big things. It used to be CES,
Right.
like that's where they did that stuff, and it kind of broke off, became its own thing. So now that it's gotten to the point where so many people are there, it's so much harder for them to cover everything because they're waiting in lines. They can't, you know, and so it's kind of become a ridiculous thing. And it's kind of like, well, look, what most people have been calling for is for them to take E3 and make it more like what Gamescom is, where basically Gamescom has like 2 days that are just media event days, and then they open it to the public.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to get at. Because, like, the difference, like say if we were to go out there, we probably could go to E3 if we wanted to.
Right.
But for those people that aren't in the media or not in those news outlets, they can't get in there. Like, don't get me wrong, it's pretty good seeing it on TV. That's one thing.
Right.
But to actually get in there, you know, get my hands on a new game, play a demo of it. I like that.
Of, yeah, me too.
And I mean, for the public to just finally be able to get a little bit of hands-on, which I guess you could see it as, say if your average Joe Schmo walked into the EA, maybe gets their hands on Madden or Mass Effect, probably would be like
Mass
the
Effect,
thing.
probably Titanfall 2.
Think of the amount of people at that point that would also talk about, yo, I just got my hands on that Mass Effect.
It is a much better way, in my opinion, to get the word of mouth going if they have something that's there that's good. Now, if they have something there that's not good,
they're gonna hear.
They're gonna hear about it. They're gonna hear about it.
They're gonna hear about it. Yeah.
but that's what they want. I mean, they're saying they want to be more customer facing and get stuff out in front of people so that they can, you know, and Bethesda, you know, just came out behind them and said, yep, we're doing a conference, another conference.
You know what?
this
I wonder
year.
how it's gonna affect their games that like Microsoft or Sony plan on showing.
Right.
At their conferences.
I mean,
since they're essentially pulling out to the side, are they still going to show like Call of Duty on the big Sony stage or on the Microsoft
Oh, well, I mean,
stage?
for EA, maybe they will
something
show
like that,
Mass
yeah.
Effect, maybe they won't. I mean, it could be like, I mean, they've still done that. Like, they've always done their own conference. Not always, but for a long time, it's been Microsoft does their conference in the morning on Monday, then EA does theirs, then Sony does theirs, and then Nintendo did whatever Nintendo's gonna do, like the next day or whatever, and then like Ubisoft was the next day, and so they've always had their own conference. They still did usually team up, like they announced like EA Access or had somebody, you know, they still have done so there still probably will be some things there, depending on what other kind of announcements they have. I mean, but when you kind of just set up and said, okay, we're getting ready to do this like EA Access, but it's going to be for PC, and we're going to do, you know what I mean? Like, is they're kind of moving into other realms and kind of wanting to be more customer facing. They're doing games like Unravel, which, you know, isn't the kind of game that EA generally does. It's a $20, more of an indie kind of a game.
Yeah.
That means that they're looking to kind of dig their hands into, you know, things that I think kind of touch where their customers are. EA also has a they make great games, but they have a really, really bad reputation.
They do.
Like,
They do.
people just don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, they just, for whatever reason, they're often one of the worst companies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they get
Hear
those
from people
awards.
all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I think this is a good idea for them. But I also think that this is probably the beginning of other major companies doing the same thing. Instead of paying like millions of dollars or whatever to rent out space in this thing, look, we're just gonna we're gonna spend our money and do our own thing and not share that space with a bunch of other people. Because the other thing about it is you're also now, EA had one of the biggest booths at E3. It's essentially like 4 different booths. But now it's like you don't have whatever it is they're trying to show you, be it Titanfall 2 or Mass Effect or whatever, competing with whatever Activision is showing over here, or whatever.
Or out the corner of your eye over here.
You know what I mean? It's just,
all the focus
when
is
you're
just
there,
on their
it's
stuff.
just up, and that's smart. That's smart.
It's gonna work. It's gonna be interesting how it all plays out, but I think it's gonna work out well for
More importantly, I'm trying to go.
Absolutely.
Right home, right with you.
Give me them tickets.
I didn't think that was what you was gonna say, but I like this.
Loading snacks.